Now, I want to call you Denver Police Chief, but you told me it has to be soon to be Denver Police Chief Paul Pazen. When does that officially take effect?
So this takes effect July 9th.
Okay, so you are not just an internal hire to Police Chief. You are a local product turned good. You're from District 1, where you've represented for the last 6 years. I imagine at some point in your life you said, man, I want to be a police officer. But when did you say, man, I can't wait to be CEO of police officers?
Actually, that's a lifelong dream, the culmination of a lifelong dream. You're right. I was born and raised in this city, and I feel that my purpose in life is to give back to this community that has given me so much. And in order to do that, in order to maximize that, you want to climb to the highest levels possible. And by leading this department at this level, I will be able to help shape and formulate not only our strategies, but even the way that our officers interact with the community, which is absolutely the most important thing that we can do.
So that sounds a bit like community policing, which was a tenet of Chief Robert White. Do you want to be an extension of Chief White, or are we seeing some overhauls?
So we are going to build on the solid foundation that Chief White has created over the last 6.5 years, and we are going to take it to the next level.
That's good product placement. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Currently, our vision is all about preventing crime and treating people with respect and dignity. That's that solid base, that solid foundation that I'm talking about. Now is when we add the social harms. So our team, the women and men that make up this police department, are out there working hard to prevent crime. But we also have to address the fear of crime as well as social issues that impact the most vulnerable in our community.
In your application for police chief, you wrote about a pilot program called Data-Driven Approach to Crime and Traffic Safety. What is that?
DDACS, Data-Driven Approach to Crime and Traffic Safety. This is where we are using crash data, crime data. We analyze both. We find hotspots. This is a long-term approach to place-based policing. Again, one of our strategies that has proven to be very effective, and those are the types of strategies that we're going to use to address all aspects of quality of life, all aspects of public safety in this city.
The theme of that sounds a bit of an extension on the community policing that Chief White has done. Chief White and the union did not tend to get along, and the union recently had a vote. Of the union officers that did vote, the majority of them had a vote of no confidence for Chief White. What responsibility do you have to better the relationship between the chief's office and the union?
So our responsibility with our administration is focusing in on the areas where we can agree. The union's goal as far as serving its membership is directly aligned with our administration's goal of taking care of the people who take care of the people. And we're going to make sure that they are supported in this very difficult and dangerous job that they do day in and day out in order to provide the best safety for our community moving forward.
Why is it that union officers seem to butt heads with their bosses?
Well, sometimes it's disagreements, and sometimes we can't get over specific disagreements, but I'm going to make sure that we can work past that. And if there are areas where they don't agree with a decision that I've made or our team has made, that we can put that to the side and focus on the areas where we can align on our goals.
There's a current push to get a new use of force policy in place, it sounds like, before Chief White leaves office. If that's the case, that would be by Monday when you take office. And it sounds like if, let's say, Broncos coach Vance Joseph were to put a new offensive playbook in, then retires and says, hey, new coach, that's your playbook, go with it. Are you comfortable with the policy that's being talked about right now that you would be responsible for fulfilling?
So it's critical that we look at all of our policies and make sure that our policies are sound moving forward. Our team has focused on this effort for a year and a half, and this has had some community input. It has had input from all levels of city government, and we're going to ensure that it is trained appropriately and implemented appropriately.
What does the policy look like? The use of force, like is it going to be specific? I know some of the concerns is that it might leave officers open for interpretation of, I thought this, that's my defense.
Marshall, great question, and that's exactly what we need to make sure doesn't occur. And we do that by communicating, by training the policy to training to its intent. Our officers go out every day with the intent of delivering the best possible public safety services, not to get into any type of physical confrontation with our community members. And we're going to work towards that by ensuring that the training addresses all of those issues before we send our team out on the street.
What is the Denver Police Department's role when you come across someone you have detained or questioned that turns out to be here illegally under a Chief Paul Pazen?
We do not and will not inquire about any person's status. Our relationship with our community is far more important than any federal immigration standards.
I see you're not wearing a body-worn camera, but this question is about that. So body-worn cameras, halo cameras. We and the public would like to see footage from incidents soon after they've happened. What is your stance on releasing footage from body-worn cameras and halo cameras?
So we do have a policy that does allow for this to take place, and there's a protocol that's been put forward for a couple of years now with regards to this. Transparency is our goal, and we will work towards that. We need to balance privacy issues because we are going in with those body cameras to hospitals, which have some challenges, and we're going into people's homes with those body cams. So if we're releasing that information or we're releasing that video, that could be very harmful to our relationship and the privacy concerns of the people that are impacted.
And if there are incidents that happen completely in the public, not in someone's home, not in a hospital, does the position change at all?
So actually, I'm glad that you're asking. We will review all of our critical policies to make sure that they are best practices moving forward. So our overall goal is to be as transparent as humanly possible while still maintaining that balance with regards to privacy.
In your position paper for getting this job, you also wrote there have been 2,400 domestic violence incidents each year over the last 3 years.
Correct.
And you have a plan that could reduce that by hundreds.
Yes.
How?
So this is something that I'm very passionate about. I want to make sure that we are wrapping our arms around this type of issue. We have great resources right now to help victims of domestic violence. We have the Rose Andom Center, we have detectives that are assigned there, we have nonprofits that dedicate themselves in order to help support victims of domestic violence, and that has to continue. One area that we can improve on, what I propose and what I've seen work, is a focused deterrence model that takes care of the other side of the equation. We want to be proactive and provide resources to individuals to prevent the domestic violence incident from occurring in the first place.
So that's from the suspect point of view.
Exactly,
from
the offender side of it. If we can help them and connect them to resources, nonprofit resources, anger management resources, ways that they can help then prevent these from occurring in the first place, then that's what we need to do. We need to challenge ourselves in order to address this very, very serious crime that impacts all segments of our society.
Should there be any reviews or complaints of your work as chief, should the city's independent monitor be able to oversee those investigations? So
oversight is critical because it really comes down to accountability. We are all accountable for our own actions, and whether this is civilian oversight or our leaders and supervisors that I respond to, our community that I answer to, that has to take place. Accountability is critical at all levels of the Denver Police Department.
So if you wanted to, does that say that differs from the mayor's position now that the independent monitor really has an outsider perspective?
Let me be perfectly clear. My opinion, my position is the same as the mayor's position.
Okay. You beat out 4 other candidates to be the chief, including the deputy chief and 3 other commanders. Do the deputy chief and the 3 other commanders still have those roles with you as the boss?
So can we give credit where credit is due first? That batch of leaders in our department are immensely talented, and they have put forth a lot of work in order to help and support our community. Years and years, decades of service to this community, and any one of those candidates would do a great job in this role. We're working on building a team, but let me tell you what our team is going to look like. Our team is going to be very diverse and very inclusive, because we have a big job here, and we are going to make sure that we are all working together in order to accomplish that goal.
They're a very diverse group. Does it include them?
We're putting together a team, and we hope to have that in place as quickly as possible.
I saw you at the Boulder on Memorial Day. I've
Yes.
seen you at a few running events.
Yes.
Do you do that to be able to chase down someone on the street?
Absolutely not. And I don't know how you saw me, because you're a lot faster than I am. Do you have eyes in the back of your head? I enjoy running. I enjoy, I'm a Denver, a son of Denver, a native Denverite, but I'm also big into what the great state of Colorado offers us, and I enjoy running, and the Boulder's a great event, just like the rock and roll and the runs that we have here at Wash Park, City Park, and the Colfax Marathon. We have some great events here in this city designed to help the folks that are running enthusiasts like
Look at you
myself.
promoting Denver.
Absolutely.
Commander promoted to chief as of July 9th. Paul Pazen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Marshall.